Hi, I'm Frank Ireland, and this is my top 10 favorite projects video. Number 10 on my list is my 2012 YouTube poop called Pocahontas Forever. Pocahontas is one of my favorite Disney movies, and I wanted to add my sense of humor to it. In 2012, I finally bought an external hard drive. With that, the doors of editing were blown wide open for me. For years, I could only work with what I had saved on my laptop. Pocahontas Forever was one of my first YouTube poops where the sky was the limit.
The sky's the limit.
I was finally able to use any movie I wanted, and I could do any reference.
Example.
There's a few jokes in the video where it's something only I would get, or it's something that's personal to me. I grew up with Disney movies on VHS, and there was a trailer for 101 Dalmatians. And that specific trailer played that audio clip twice. So that audio clip of always stood out to me. And that's one of the reasons why I really liked making YouTube poop. I could reference anything because the more random the joke was, the better the video would be. The second joke in the video that stands out to me for being specifically for me is
Drop! You got like 3 feet of air that time.
Yes, of course, it's a reference to the Beastie Boys. But specifically, it's a reference to my local sports team, the Buffalo Bisons. During the season, whenever the opposing team would drop the ball, they would play that
Drop!
And I love that. So those are two of many examples of why the video stands out to me, but it's definitely one of my personal favorites. Number 9 on this list is the wonderful Aerial Tours Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Can I come?
No, son.
If you look
The reason why Part 6 stands out to me is because I think it's the strongest of the series. It stands perfectly on its own, and you don't need to watch the other installments to fully enjoy it. It's so strong that most of it was edited and finished before Parts 2 through 5 were even finished. It was actually one of the deciding factors that sold me to do a whole recut of the entire movie. I personally think it's one of my best YouTube poops, and it features one of the best sentence mixings I've ever done.
It's time Ursula took matters into her own testicles.
It also has some of my favorite obscure references. There's a point in the video where I reference the Rescuers soundtrack.
Move over. Move your big feathers. I can't see a thing.
Nothing is happening.
And then there's another scene where I reference Batman Begins. Looking back at this YouTube poop, it reminded me why I enjoyed making them in the first place. And I don't think there's any other video format that you could actually do that, without being it too crazy. And I feel like YouTube poop, the end goal is to be crazy, so I love that.
Go on!
Kissed a girl and I liked it. The taste of her cherry chapstick.
Number 8 on this list is Frozen Global Meltdown.
Well, enough of that.
Back in 2014, I had downloaded a screener copy of the movie Frozen, but the problem was, throughout the movie, a watermark would appear on screen that says Property of Walt Disney. So I couldn't do much with that copy of the movie, but I still wanted to get ahead of the crowd to make a YouTube poop or some sort of Frozen mashup. So what I decided to do was to make a placeholder, just like a small video to basically call dibs on some of the jokes before the home release came out on DVD. And little did I know, that little video, Frozen Unthawed, would become super huge. So when the time came to make Frozen Global Meltdown, I couldn't use any of my Frozen Unthawed jokes because that had become its own video. So I had to make all brand new jokes. And with that, I tried to make it the most professionally made YouTube poop I had made by that point. And to me, I think it's still one of my most solid videos.
My ice business is riding on you talking to your sister?
Yep.
To me, one of the best aspects of Frozen Global Meltdown is that it's actually stuck with me all these years. Just recently, when Frozen 2 came out, opening weekend, I went to see it, and I had to hold in laughter during the scene when Anna and Elsa go through the wreckage of the parent ship, because it just reminded me of my video.
Get those fucking loads!
It was just too funny to me, and I loved it. I should say this before I move on to the next video, but after rewatching Frozen Global Meltdown and seeing Frozen 2 on the big screen, I just want to say something. I don't want to build up too much hype, but I do have a few ideas from Frozen 2 that I want to do. But I'm not sure it's going to be enough for a whole video, but I do have enough where I'm like, you know what, there might be another Frozen video in me. So just keep an eye out on Site B. That's my other channel where I upload my YouTube poops. So if I do make it, it'll end up there, but I'm kind of excited. I think I might do it. Number 7 on this list is my 2011 trailer mashup, Walt Disney's Sin City.
Walk down the right back alley in Sin City, and you can find anything.
Now, this video came from a time where my editing career was at a low point. I had just finished film school, and I wasn't sure of my future. Everything was unsure, and it just wasn't the best time. So in order to cheer myself up, I would watch Disney movies. And I started getting all these, different copies on my laptop, and I started realizing, like, hey, you know what? I had this idea in high school of Disney's Sin City, where I could use Great Mouse Detective, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Beauty and the Beast, and things like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to try anything to jumpstart my editing career. Let me try it out. So I started editing the video, and I got about halfway through, and I got overwhelmed because at this point I had never really worked with, more than one movie or maybe 2 movies on a trailer mashup. So I was like, oh, it's too many, too many movies. And during this time, my friend Alan would come to visit me. He asked me, like, hey, man, what are you working on? I was like, nothing. And he's like, come on, you got to be working on something. And I said, well, I'm kind of working on a Walt Disney trailer mashup. And I told him the characters, like, Hardigan is the Great Mouse Detective, and Marv is the Beast, and things like that. And he was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good, let me see it. So I showed him some clips of it, of what I had finished. And he was like, oh, this is really good, you should finish it. And I'm like, nah. And he's like, finish it! Finish it! And I'm like, from evil! Okay, I'll finish it. And it became one of my most popular trailer mashups I've ever made. That's why it's on this list.
There'll be a rest. There'll be death. Nothing can stop this. Time to prove to your friends that you're worth a damn.
So we get to number 6. Number 6 on this list is Old Habits Do Hard.
Once again I'm on a fall. Once again I find my back is up against the wall.
This video was a direct response to Die Hard 5. I'm a huge Die Hard fan. I love all the movies. And in 2013, I went to the movie theater and I watched the marathon.
John McClane is back.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
To back.
Oh, we are just up to our neck in terrorists again. Story of my life.
To back.
I know what I'm doing. You got a AAA card?
To back.
I'll take it from here.
All leading up to the 10 p.m. premiere of A Good Day to Die Hard.
So it was the main event, Die Hard 5, and I was actually pretty excited, even though the trailer was kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I'm a Die Hard fan, it'll be fine. And it was just so bad. It just felt like a slap to the face. So Old Habits Do Hard was my way of making a better Die Hard sequel. It was also my way to pay homage, or aka steal, from one of my favorite YouTube poop editors called Orpheus for the Win. He was the master with his Skooks videos, and I'm just an apprentice making my Scooby-Doo videos. To me, it's definitely one of my favorite projects I've ever worked on because it's basically references to everything I love. You have Jurassic Park, you have Die Hard, you have Evil Dead, and so many other things. Definitely one of my best videos, and that's why I made this list.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
What the?
So we reach number 5. Number 5 on this list is Strange and Unusual, the Tim Burton filmography video.
It's showtime.
People ignore the strange and unusual. I myself am strange and unusual.
What kind of a movie is this?
This is one of my newer videos, but to me, it's another checkpoint of my career. Originally, I only wanted to do something small. I wanted to, edit something with like Edward Scissorhands or Beetlejuice. But as I was thinking about it, you know what? How about I just make a video about Tim Burton? Because the year beforehand, I made the Paul Thomas Anderson video where I made a tribute to all his movies. And I was like, I bet I could do that for Tim Burton, because I'm rewatching his movies anyway. Like, you know what? I think I'll do that. And to me, like, if you were to ask me, like, in 2010 or, 2009, hey, Frank, make a Tim Burton filmography video, there would be no way where I'd be comfortable with working with that much footage, So to me, Strange and Unusual is, like, the checkpoint of my career where everything I learned for the past 10 years coming together as one in the Strange and Unusual video. But, I have to admit, it's not the best thing I've ever made, because there are a few audio goofs in it, but I see what I did there, and next time I'll do better. I learned a lot, but I still have more to learn, you know what I mean? And it's definitely one of my favorite projects I've worked on, because it's just a truly mixture of everything I've learned and picked up along the way.
Every day a new adventure. That's my motto.
Merry Christmas!
What an age this is.
Thank God you're here. They're tearing up the place.
Oh my goodness, we're already at number 4 on this list. So number 4 is my Snow White YouTube poop recut. Now, this one's on my list for several reasons, so I'm going to name some of them. Number 1, it's the project that made me learn not to do requests. I got a comment on one of my Little Mermaid videos, and he said, you know what? You should do a YouTube poop for Snow White. And I was like, hey, I should. I'm making videos for the people. I'm going to make this video, Snow White. And I also saw it as a challenge to be like, it's an old movie. It's from the 30s. How can I, update it and modernize it with my jokes and, stupid kind of humor and movie references and things like that? I started, working on it. I made part 1 and I messaged the guy. I'm like, hey, here's part 1. Check it out. And I was expecting like, oh yeah, this is awesome. But I heard nothing back. So I'm like, all right. I've already begun work on it, and part 2 is almost done because, I work on part 1 and part 2 basically at the same time. So I'm like, all right. I'll try it out. Let's just, see what happens. So I make part 2, and I heard nothing back from the guy. I was like, what? He never said thank you or responded or left a comment. And to put all that kind of work into it and effort and not get thanks or acknowledgement from that specific person that inspired you to do it, it was just like a wake-up call. Like, man, just make videos for yourself. Don't make it for someone else, because if you make it for someone else, then it's not genuine. It's not yours. So that brings me to the second thing I learned on this project. The second thing I learned on this project was that I had edited myself into a corner. I did not leave that much for a part 3. So I had to figure out something, I had to create some sort of narrative with Snow White Part 1 and Part 2. I decided to do a full recut of the entire series with using the audiobook and Evil Dead 2, because I thought it'd be so funny, like, Ash gets to the cabin and starts playing the tape recorder.
Once upon a time, there lived a lovely little princess named Snow White.
Put the fucking lotion in the basket!
I had totally missed that with making the first video. I'm like, how can I squeeze that in? So with this, the full recut, that joke could be inserted in. And I was like, yes, this is awesome. I could add all the jokes I missed and all the references I could have made. And then, just smooth over some rough plot lines.
At long last, we got to the part we've been waiting for. The end of the movie.
And with doing this, making the full recut, I was able to fix any mistakes I had made, fix some continuity errors, and to connect some storylines that I'm like, how does that happen? How do I connect this to that? This is what I could do with storytelling. This is how you could fix things by using audio and using different movies. Like, you can fix it.
We see that the Queen can run at a super fast speed when the editor doesn't know how to get them out of a situation.
Because each one kind of takes you to the next place, and you can't jump.
The third thing I learned from the Snow White project was that Snow White is a great Disney movie, and it's easily become one of my favorites. I love the songs, I love the characters. It's wonderful. I love Dopey, I love Doc, and I have this project to thank for opening my eyes to my love for Snow White. It's very personal to me because I went through so many different things while working on the project. That's why it's on the list. It's number 4.
Who now is the fairest one of all?
Snow White.
I know exactly what we need to destroy tonight.
Alrighty, guys, we're in the top 3. Number 3 on this list is The Batman.
Shots fired at the police. We have an officer down.
You know what you get for being a hero? Nothing. Nobody's hero.
There's Bruce Wayne!
But your father was right. You are a hero.
What? So what do we got?
He just came out of nowhere. He saved my life like a guardian angel.
Years ago, in 2014, on Tumblr, I made a list of all these fan trailers I wanted to do, and one of them was a 90s Dark Knight with George Clooney, and I wanted to have Bill Pullman as Harvey Dent. But since I had already made the Batman vs. Superman trailer, and I had set up that cast with, Bruce Willis as Batman and Denzel as Gordon, I was like, oh, that would be perfect. Just plug in Bill Pullman as Harvey Dent, I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I combined all my ideas into one. I combined the Batman vs. Superman with my serious Dark Knight trailer into one, and it becoming the Batman. Now, I'm going to admit it's not the perfect trailer because it's a bit overlong, but everything that trailer is just world building. It's creating that universe. I personally think it's better than my Batman vs. Superman trailer. It's a solid all-around, story. It might not have gone viral, but the right audience found it, and I think that's really awesome.
In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you.
Okay, we're almost there, guys. Number 2 on this list is my Grand Theft Auto trailer, or as my friend Anthony calls it, one of the best fan trailers on YouTube.
I grew up in a tough neighborhood. And we used to say you can get further with a kind word and a gun than you can with just a kind word. And sometimes a reputation follows you. There is violence, of course, but not by me and not by anybody I employ, and I'll tell you why, because it's not good business.
To me, it really is the least fan trailer feeling thing I've made. It makes me happy whenever I watch it. I watch it, I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. That's like my vision I had, because I remember when I was just thinking about making it, I would just listen to music, and I remember listening to that version of Heart of Glass, and like, that's the opening right there. It has a believable cast. They seem realistic for that kind of crime drama. It's got realistic music choices where it's like 80s, and it's got that stuff where you would expect from, a Grand Theft Auto movie. And then it tells a solid narrative, all in a matter of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It doesn't go into that fan editor territory where it's only 1 minute and 40 seconds, where it goes over to the 3-minute mark. I'm really proud of that. It's like a normal trailer, and to me, it really is the least fan trailer feeling thing I've made. It's perfect. I love that trailer. The Grand Theft Auto trailer is number 2 on my list.
Let's finish this.
Who gives a shit about Grand Theft Auto?
We've made it, guys. We've reached the top.
I've reached the top!
Number 1 on my top 10 favorite projects list. Drum roll, please.
Oh,
Joy to the world!
That's right, you guessed it. Jurassic World 1978.
But we can ensure their safety. Everything's fine.
Something's wrong.
The master generator's blown!
We can't get back our power.
Whole system's failed.
Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies ever, and when Jurassic World came out in 2015, I was happier than a pig in shit. It was everything I ever wanted, you know, because there was like 14 years where Jurassic Park was dead as Dillinger, and it came back in 2015, and it finally got the love and respect it deserved. One of the biggest movies of that year. Fantastic. And it reminded me of two things. The first one being, reminded me of me playing with my Jurassic Park toys as a kid. And the second one being, it reminded me of 1970s disaster films. That 70s disaster movie idea seemed so spot on for me, I felt like I had to prove my vision that Jurassic World was genuinely a 1970s disaster movie. Any other editor would have slapped a VHS filter on the trailer and then called it a day, but not me. I did the research to make my vision a reality. I rented a ton of dinosaur movies from the 1950s all the way to like the early 90s. I also watched a lot of disaster movies from the 70s. I watched a ton of Michael Caine movies, and I squeezed in the subtle reference to my actor friend Duncan Casey.
Oh, Mama Brody. So what?
Evil is everywhere, Dr. Zayas.
I said, how much? I said, 3 million quid and a free trip to Miami.
I also wanted to squeeze in one of my favorite pin-up actresses of that era, Raquel Welch. I did references to my childhood favorites such as Jaws, Jaws 3D, King Kong 1976, Lake Placid, Free Willy, The Last Dinosaur, Planet of the Dinosaurs, Piranha, and My Science Project. The entire Jurassic World 1978 trailer is a love letter to my favorite franchise ever. Definitely one of my favorite fan trailers I've ever made. It's definitely the poster child of what I think fan trailer editing should be. You have to do the research, you have to find the right clips, you have to find the right actors, you have to tell the story, and use any and all movies to make your vision a reality. You know, if you want to make a fan trailer, don't just use the same 5 movies. Do the research, look up different actors, find the appropriate actor, and make your vision a reality. And to me, Jurassic World 1978 is my best project I've ever made.
Jurassic World.
So that's been my top 10 list. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you disagree, give me your top 10 favorites of my videos. I want to see what you guys say. I think it's going to be very interesting. And leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of my list and what you guys think of this video. You know, thanks. You know, thank you for supporting me for 10 years, or for those people who have, you know, been here for most of that time. And all the people I've met along the way, like Anthony, Kirk, Sam, Cody, Jay Longbone. There's so many people I've became friends with along the way while editing, and it's fantastic. I love our little community online. It's great, and I look forward to making more videos and entertaining you guys, and most of all, just making my visions a reality. And I hope you enjoy them too, you know, because I got a lot of ideas. Just because you don't see a video doesn't mean I don't have any ideas. It just means I'm trying to find time to work on them. I got like 3 of them I'm trying to work on right now.
Yo, K-Billy. Request? Okay, what is it?
K-Billy Super Sounds of the 70s Weekend just keeps on coming with this little ditty on the station where the 70s survived.
Come on, let's get in character.
All right, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Where we going?
We're gonna be dropped into France, dressed as civilians. And I'm putting together a special team.
Called Fox Force 5.
I guess they thought it sounded cool. Let's go to work. Let me tell you something. You would have been great at anything. Anything.
On June 2 this year, a very unique thing happened. Polar Orb 5, on a routine mission, disappeared off the monitor. There were 5 men on that expedition. There was one survivor.
As promised, at the end of the video, I wanted to do a mini Q&A, and since there wasn't that many questions, this will hopefully go by quick. The first one I have here is, what are your top 5 favorite superheroes? In no particular order, we got Batman, Punisher, Incredible Hulk, Superman, and Daredevil. Which upcoming DC film are you most excited to see aside from the Joker? There's only 3 DC films coming out, such as Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 2, and The Batman. I'm excited about any DC movie because I know they're going to be better than the Marvel movies. To me, Marvel has gotten to that point where it's stale, and like I have no need to rewatch them. I've realized, like, I really loved Avengers Endgame, don't get me wrong, it's a really awesome movie and it ticks all the boxes, but I've never felt the need to rewatch it since seeing it in the theaters. I've never felt. But like movies like Suicide Squad or Batman vs. Superman or like the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, I felt the urge to rewatch them, even though I don't always do. I've always felt the urge to, watch them again and enjoy it again. And I'm looking forward to Birds of Prey. I'm really looking forward to Wonder Woman 2. And, of course, the Batman, because the more Batman, the better, right? Next question here is a bit of a personal one. I might go a little too heavy on this one, but it's from He-Man Moto. Do you want to try and make some money or someone like a director to spot your editing skills or something like that? Or is it purely yours and others' enjoyment? Basically, is there an end game here? Because I've seen a few fan-made channels are going to Patreon and other things like that, just to be curious to know where you see it going, if anywhere else. Okay, to quickly answer the first question, I feel like my time to be noticed is long gone for sure, and all the content I make is not going to go viral. Because, to put it bluntly, I don't aim for the masses. To answer the next question, I make the videos for my own enjoyment. If it's something I want to see, I want to make it. Like, I did not make the Frozen VHS trailer to go viral. That just happened on its own because Frozen was hot at the time. Captain America Winter Soldier. I just wanted to see Captain America as like a Punisher type character, and that went viral, and, I had no control over that. And Jurassic World, that came out right around the time when the movie hit DVD because I was waiting for the DVD to come out to use some clips, and I uploaded that, and that went viral. I wasn't aiming to, but it went viral. But I don't aim to do that. I'm doing these videos because I want to see these videos made. I want to see a 1978 Jurassic World. I want to see a 1996 Gone Girl. And I'm willing to do the research and look up the actors and look up these movies and look up the genre to do it. And to answer the next question is, going to Patreon and things like that, I think that's totally ridiculous to ask me, like, particularly for this channel. There's other editors out there who make fan trailers on a weekly basis. You ask them that because, they're churning out product. They're doing that. They make a living off of this. I don't make a living off of YouTube. I never have. I feel like whoever's going to pay for Patreon, they want immediate results, buddy. They want to see you next week. And I don't work like that. Because with my videos, I take the time and effort to do research. If I'm going to make a 90s erotic thriller, I'm going to watch a lot of 90s erotic thrillers. If I'm going to watch or make a Tom Cruise trailer, I'm going to watch every Tom Cruise trailer and pick all the lines I want to use. And that's a good example is the Dark Universe trailer. I made that before Halloween, and now that, I'm moving over to Blu-ray and I have a chance to remake some of my old stuff, I really want to remake the Dark Universe, but that would cost a lot of money, and that's the only reason why I would want money. But it's going to take a while to do that, you know what I mean? If I were to start a Patreon and be like, where's the Dark Universe trailer? It's like, well, I'm waiting on ordering these movies here, and those are out of print, so I got to wait for them to come from overseas or something like that, you know what I mean? It's not going to be immediate, buddy. And I don't feel like my system of making videos is not going to work for that, because I still see this as a hobby. It's never been, I'm going to do this for a living. It's my hobby. I have a job, I come home and I want to relax and watch a few Red Letter Media videos or, watch a movie and do minor research for projects, but I don't want to work all day and then come home and work on projects, you know what I mean? I don't want to burn the candle on both ends, but I don't see myself going to Patreon. I would love to take some donations, but I don't want to do that because first of all, I don't trust myself to finish the project because I feel like if I fuck up, it's going to be on my dime. Because if I were to say like, hey, donate money, I'm going to make my Michael Keaton trailer, I never fulfilled that promise, you know? And I'm glad I never did that because I have a stack of Michael Keaton movies I bought, and I'd feel so guilty if I were to, like, back then ask for, like, money to make a Michael Keaton thing, you know? And the other thing I don't trust is my audience. I don't think it's the right age group. I feel like a lot of my demographic is people lying about their age, you know? They're lying to being over 18. They're not really over 18. I think a lot of them are, like, teenagers because my videos hardly get over 300 to 500 views, and it's just like... Yeah, I don't see the money there. I don't see that working for me specifically, but I appreciate the question though. Like maybe I guess you see me that way. I guess you see me like, yeah, this guy's good. Maybe if he had like a Patreon or something. Like, no, I don't produce enough content for that to work. And I know there's a lot of people out there who do like suggestions for me, like, oh, you should do this trailer, you should do that. It's like I have plenty of ideas to work on. It's just I take forever to work on them because I'm literally doing the research. I watch trailers first. I make notes. I rent those movies from those trailers, and then from the movies I rip the DVDs or the Blu-rays now, and then I work on that project. And right now I'm juggling like 5 different projects, and I'm working on a Tarantino tribute, and I'm working on the Kristen Stewart project, and I'm also gathering sources for my upcoming mystery box. I'm juggling a lot of different projects here, and I'm only one guy, and it's only a hobby that I do every once in a while, so I really don't see going on to like getting donations from people. But if you were to send me something like, oh, I'm going to send you a copy of End of Days on Blu-ray, I'd appreciate it. I think that'd be really cool. I'd probably put a special credit in there, but I don't know how that would work. Maybe you guys can leave a suggestion like, oh, you should try out this way. I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. So the next question I have here is from one of my favorite subscribers, Cade Fisher. You guys might remember him from creating my thumbnail for Captain America Winter Soldier. He also created the thumbnail for my Dark Knight Returns. He also made like a little logo that I used for my 10-year anniversary for the Gone Girl trailer. I'm pretty sure it's like on the thumbnail, and I think it's in the video. But yeah, he's helped me make a lot of cool stuff. Oh, and a couple of Frank Ireland Show logos, things like that. He's really great. His question is, even though you're done working on YouTube poops, were there ones that you thought of doing that you abandoned, or mashups that you never got around to doing? I'm not going to answer the mashup one because I'm still working on that list. There's like ideas I really want to do. But to answer the YouTube poop ones, the major one that I wanted to do for YouTube poop but abandoned was the Scooby-Doo Part 3. I really wanted to do Scooby-Doo Part 3 with the John Carpenter kind of theme, or at least a couple of references to his movies. But it just didn't work out because, life got in the way and my love for YouTube poop, dissipated. And that just, it's gone. I don't really see that ever happening, the Scooby-Doo Part 3, which is sad. But there is several ideas that I think might happen in the future. I want to do a Stranger Things YouTube poop, or at least a couple ideas. I want to do Red Letter Media Opus, my magnum opus of making an awesome Red Letter tribute, like YouTube poop, where it's just all fucked up and like repeating, and then like 9/11 jokes and like dark humor.
He wanted to make us suffer. He wanted to take everyone else down with him.
Yeah.
Oh my God! This is Mike's 9/11.
I think that'd be like, that's my masterpiece. I think that just might be my masterpiece. That one would be, and then the final one would be, it was sort of abandoned, but I'm going to bring it back. A few years ago, Frozen had that little short where, I forgot what the hell it was called, but it was the one where it's, Frozen Fever, where Elsa got sick. I thought that was going to be enough material to make another YouTube poop, but it wasn't, so that idea was abandoned. But since there's Frozen Fever and Frozen Christmas Special, and then the Frozen 2, I totally believe there's enough material for the third and final Frozen entry of my YouTube poop series, which I would call, right now, working title. I might change it because it sucks. But I was going to call it The Frozen Unthawed Rises, because you're banking off the title of the popular one, The Frozen Unthawed. And then you're putting Rises at the end because, you know, Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, that would be my ultimate goal, is to make the Frozen YouTube poop. The third and final entry of the trilogy. But yeah, those are the YouTube poops. But yeah, those have been the questions. There was one that I'm saving for my channel trailer. I'm making a channel trailer where I kind of go in depth of what I do for my channel. So there's that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this mini Q&A. Not many questions, but I did answer them all. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye then.